It's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you my Tag It Tuesday tag made with the 4 prompts from the Tag It Tuesday Facebook group from Sherry. Today on the live stream channel, which we do every Thursday, and that is Art Joy of Sharing live stream channel. That's a different channel than this one. You go over there, you watch the live streams, and you can watch the recordings. This is a speed up of today's show, which was Thursday, April 5th, where Sherry from Tag It Tuesday was on the show with me. Of course, her parts are cut out because you can watch that on the live stream recording over there. This is a speed up and voiceover version. So the prompts for today were stamp, use a stamp, collage with napkins, add stars, and use markers. The first thing I did was to stamp using a stamp that looks like chicken wire. And I thought it also looked like maybe fish netting or maybe a fence that you might see at the beach, like holding in the beach grass or whatever. In this part of the video, I was talking about how easy it is to cut out things from napkins using a water brush. I also suggested that if you wanted to actually cut something out, as in fussy cut, that you collage it onto a heavier piece of paper, or that you iron it onto freezer paper, which is a type of paper that has wax on one side, and you can iron the napkin right onto it, and then you have a nice, easy way of cutting out, which is what I'm doing right now. Because napkins are almost completely translucent, the stamping that I did on the tag at the beginning shows through, and I think it adds an extra little bit to the background. And then I was planning on putting this crab on the top as a 3D element. I don't end up using the crab, but I did want to talk about collaging it onto a scrap piece of cardstock to make it easier to cut. So that's the reason that I left this part in. I decided at the end that it was just too busy with the other elements that I had. But I have him for a different day. So I've stamped, I've collaged with napkins. I decided that I wanted to use some of this tea bag, which is basically like a very thin tea stained paper, as maybe part of my background. My idea was to make a 3D collage type of a tag. So I'm going to be adding all these things. This thing looks like a lobster, but it's actually a crayfish, I found out. Crawfish, crayfish. It was too gold. So I decided to put some gesso on it and then paint it. So I'm just using a sponge brush, a 1-inch sponge brush, and some gesso to just kind of pat, 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 pat over the top of it and get that layer of gesso on there so that I can paint it a different color, because when I put it on my tag, it was just too bright. Then I used some rust color and some brown color to color this little guy so that he can go on my tag in a bit. It's actually a plastic bead, basically, from a Mardi Gras necklace, those necklaces that they throw. So it is it's a crayfish, because it wouldn't be a lobster in that case. And it was in the Happy Mail that you saw recently on my vlog for April from Debbie. It was one of the pieces in there. She did confirm that that's what it was from a Mardi Gras necklace. So here I'm showing some of the other things that I've got out for my little collage. Not sure exactly what I'm going to use. There's a charm, there's a wooden piece, there's this interesting antique button that looks like a shell to me. That was also Happy Mail from Debbie. There's a couple plastic gems. I thought the star, one of the steps was add stars, and that's the reason that I picked this napkin, because it had a starfish sea star on it, and I thought I could make this little wooden star look a lot like that same star there and make it a 3D element as well. So I'm now painting it with some gesso and then with some ultramarine blue paint, and I'm going to dry it, and then that will be another element for my altered tag. I have a white Posca pen and I'm just doing little tiny dots around the edges of the star, and it really does turn out looking a lot like that same star that's already on the collaged on the napkin. And that was a good way to add stars. Stars apparently go with everything. This charm, I wanted the top off of it, and so I cut it off with a pair of wire snippers. It did not come off easy, and it flew somewhere in my room, which it'll probably end up in the bottom of my foot at some point because I'm not going to go look for it. So this piece is a die cut, a Tim Holtz Thinlit, and I had sponged it on the edges with potting soil ink and also with manganese blue ink. And that went over the top of my tea stained paper. And then I'm trying to add in the stick, and I just decided that I was not going to use the big blue crab. But I did decide that I need a little bit more lightness under there because the background and the stick and the crawfish are all kind of the same color. So I decided to add some gesso with my finger to maybe make it lighter. And then later on, I end up adding some cheesecloth, which was a suggestion from one of the viewers from the live stream, Marie. She suggested cheesecloth, and that was the perfect solution because I was looking for some burlap and I couldn't find it. And so then I was thinking I might use some book paper, but that didn't look quite right. I'd already glued all this stuff down with hot glue. This is where I'm trying to stick in some book paper scraps to try to lighten up underneath there, but that didn't work either. And then she suggested the cheesecloth. I went and looked for it. I found it amazingly. Surprised that I found. So then I just cut off a few pieces of it and kind of tucked them in there with some matte medium. And it really that was what the tag needed. So thank you, Marie. The burlap, the light color burlap would have worked too, but I couldn't find it. Things are just crazy around here. So then I went ahead and cut a navy blue layer to go around the back of my tag because I like that bordered edge. And I punched it and added some fibers, a piece of sari silk and a couple blue fibers from a fiber card that I had. And the tag was pretty much done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to watch the live stream video, it's recorded on the channel over there. Just go over there. Oh, yes, and then I forgot. I added some label from the Brother P-Touch as a final thing with a little bit of marker. So leave me a comment or a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share if you want to. That's it for me. Bye-bye.